Sometimes physical damage can unleash extraordinary hidden talents in a small group of otherwise ordinary individuals. Here are some examples of people who gain superhuman abilities after terrible accidents. A petty criminal and heroin addict in early life, when he was 51, Tomi suffered a stroke on both sides of his brain that resulted in a new artistic personality. When he was released from the hospital, he couldn't walk, he couldn't eat, he didn't even know that he needed to eat. When he returned home, MacLeod, with no previous interest whatsoever in the arts, was overtaken by a powerful urge to create. His compulsion and skills kept him painting for an average of 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, until he died in 2012. Before his injury, Padgett was a self-described jock and partier. He hadn't progressed beyond pre-algebra and math studies. After being brutally kicked in the head when he was 30, Padgett woke up the next day to find his world overlaid with complex mathematical formulas. He saw them everywhere he looked, and so he began to draw the things he saw. Acquired synesthesia allows him to perceive various mathematical formulas in the form of geometric shapes. Part of his brain has been damaged, but now it's using other rarely used sections to compensate for the damaged part. By sheer luck, the newly activated areas of his mind turned him into a mathematical genius. Ken Walters was a disabled former engineer living on benefits after a horrific accident left him in a wheelchair. When things looked like they couldn't get any worse, Mr. Walters suffered a stroke in his home in 2005. The cerebral hemorrhage came with an unexpected gift in the form of a newfound artistic ability. Following his stroke, Walters, who had never before created any art, was soon converting his doodles into incredible digital images. He began developing digital art, which led to him starting his own software company and landing him a job at EA Games at the age of 51. When Derek Amato was 40, he dove into the shallow end of a swimming pool, hitting his head on the bottom. Along with concussion-related side effects including amnesia, Amato discovered a previously unknown musical gift. The head injury rewired Amato's brain circuitry, leading to an acquired savant syndrome. Amato now plays the piano like a virtuoso, making up melodies from the patterns that stream across his brain in endless succession. Though he'd never had a lesson, it was as though he'd played his entire life. In 1994, when Tony Taqueria was 42 years old, he was struck by lightning near Albany, New York, while standing near a public telephone. He recalled seeing his body on the ground, surrounded by a blue-white light. Taqueria's heart had apparently stopped, but he was resuscitated by a woman who was waiting to use the telephone. Although previous to the accident he had no particular interest in music, within 3 months of being struck by lightning, Taqueria spent nearly all his time playing and composing. An anonymous woman has revealed how an accident during a ski vacation left her with phenomenally advanced mental abilities. She didn't experience any dizziness or nausea. She continued to ski the day away despite suffering a headache and a broken collarbone. In the weeks following the accident, her vision, perception, and her memory of things began to change drastically. She explained that she could not only remember every place she'd been to with ridiculous accuracy, but could also draw perfect diagrams of every single structure she had ever seen or visited. "12-year-old Nikolai was walking home from school when a faulty wire electrified him after leaning against a lamppost. Nikolai was blasted across the pavement by electrical force but managed to get home. The next day, he discovered that metallic objects stuck to his torso and hands. He became one of the most popular boys at school, with many of his classmates asking him to demonstrate his superpowers. Nikolai says that he is now in training to attract even heavier objects.